Welcome back to Stocklabs for another market recap. First half is in the books, and it was another pretty bullish week for markets. We're kind of looking for some early week downside, which basically only happened on like Monday, and then rest of the week was spent kind of just moving to the upside. So yeah, all things considered, pretty standard stuff for the index performance for the week. We had actually the Russell leading, up 3.8%, basically recouped plus a little more of the prior week's losses. S&P up 2.4%, Dow up 2.1%, and the Q's up 2%. So everything kind of made up for the prior week downside, which was kind of the first down week in a while overall. So yeah, I mean, nice run up to end the quarter on a high note. Crude oil was up 2% for the week. So we've sort of mentioned that this crude trade has gone more or less nowhere, and we don't expect really this to stick just from the most recent month's action. Credit was up 1.25%. Even EM was up 1%. Now this EM ETF I think is about 50% China. So I mean, it's not really like emerging markets. It's like a China ETF for the most part. Gold flat and bonds down half a percent. So a little bit soft on the fixed income market. As for the leadership tech stocks that we keep a watchful eye on, we had actually Apple leading the charge. Apple is at all-time highs basically, but it hasn't quite been the leader on this list for a while. So, in general, it has a little bit lower beta than the rest of these, but it's been extremely strong, especially this year, up 50%. It's not the highest in this group, but it also hadn't drawn down as much as the rest either. Got Netflix up 4%, Tesla up 2%, Microsoft up almost 2%. So actually, aside from Netflix and Apple, the rest of this group underperformed the NASDAQ, or Tesla basically performed same as the NASDAQ. NASDAQ was plus 2%. But the rest, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, Facebook, Google down 2% for the week. They underperformed the NASDAQ, but overall this group was pretty strong. So Apple is obviously the largest, across 3 trillion market cap. So this is pretty big milestone, and it's far and away the largest out of all of these. Next one is Microsoft, 2.5 trillion. So Apple worth 500 billion more than Microsoft, and 500 billion itself is bigger than most of the stocks in the market. So yeah, pretty good showing from this group, up 1 and up 1.3%. I mean, again, that underperformed the NASDAQ, but is good enough for this week. Breadthwise from the industries, only healthcare was down 0.4%. Tech was up 3%. So median tech stock outperformed the NASDAQ, which is generally a decent sign for the market. Services up 3%. Industrials up 4.5% plus. And financials up 2%. Consumer up almost 3%. Basic materials were up almost 4%, 3.7%, pretty good. And utilities kind of just doing their thing, up 1.7%. Subsector wise, we've got a couple semiconductor groups on here. We've got actually it's a pretty good mix from sort of techie type stuff to just economically sensitive type sectors. So we've got 25, 9, 30, 1, 2, 5, 6. Got 36 sectors up 5%. Pretty good. Actually, that might be the strongest we've had in a little while. So we'll see if that is sort of setting up another run into July, as July gets started. But yeah, overall, solid performance from the market. Not much down at all. Okay, we had one sector, drugstores, down 8%, but the rest, even cannabis, was only down 3.3, which is basically an up week for that sector. So, yeah, pretty good breadth overall on this view. And on the sort of market cap slices of the market that we have. Okay, 3.85% on 1 to 5 billion. 5 to 10 billion was up 4.3. 10 to 50 billion, 3.74%. 50 to 100 billion, up 2.75, and TerraCaps up a little over 2, basically market perform on the TerraCaps. So yeah, pretty good breadth overall from small caps up to large caps and TerraCaps. So we could say that the market had some pretty solid action this week. It wasn't like it got dragged up by a couple stocks or anything like that. I mean, generally the up move was spread out among a lot of different sectors and a lot of different cap ranges. So yeah, I mean, looks like kind of, pretty good up week. Now, it was end of the quarter and end of the first half, so we'll see if kind of that resets itself to start the third quarter, but overall, it looks pretty good. Pretty good. As far as intelligence for this week, actually, this is kind of dry on here. There's not a whole lot. We've got Google Google bullish this week. We've got short real estate. We've got short oil and gas exploration, and we've got some weird thing that I don't want to find out what it is. So on the downside, we've got also not a whole lot of stuff. Okay, cannabis bearish. China bear ETF is bearish, so bullish China this week. Bear Treasury ETF is bearish, so bullish Treasuries this week. We've got, okay, this China ETF I think is a bull ETF, so maybe this kind of cancels itself out on the China thing, China front. And we've got one of these ARK ETFs, genomics, is bearish. So, I mean, this is kind of like a specialized ETF, but we'll see if that spills into other momentum techie type sectors. So overall, I think, yeah, we got close to being overbought again on the market, but we had this oversold signal the end of the prior week, and more or less market went straight. I mean, we had that fractionally down day on Monday, but then up from there. So this has played out pretty nicely for anyone that, took some long exposure on the 23rd of June. You basically made a couple hundred basis points in the indices and, more if you were using some other leverage type instrument, options, futures, whatever. So yeah, I think for this week, we have a short week. I think it's like a holiday shortened schedule on Monday for 4th of July. That's on Tuesday. Markets will be closed on Tuesday. So don't really look for anything to happen on Monday. And then by the time everyone comes back on Wednesday, probably, there's not going to be a whole lot for this week anyway. So just I would expect like some choppy action that ultimately goes kind of nowhere on the indices. Maybe there's like a soft upish move, but I don't think there's going to be any sort of uh, like big rotation or like trend change this week. Generally, you need a full week to play something like that out. Again, everyone's on vacation, everyone's in and out of the office or at the desk or whatever. So, I mean, there's not going to be anything crazy happening this week. So, yeah, that's basically it. Hope everyone's having a good holiday weekend and enjoying like some barbecue, pool, beach, whatever. And be back next week to see how the third quarter has kicked off. But so far, been a pretty good year for markets. I think it's the best year, best first half start for the Nasdaq maybe ever, which is kind of saying a lot. I mean, it did come in on a low, at the end of December 2022, but yeah, it's been a good year so far, especially for the big guys, and yeah, probably people are going to be looking to press those bets the rest of the way. So that's all from me, and talk to you later. Bye.